First one, opportunities. The second one, share
Boundaries.
nature. My name is Katrina.
My name is Daria.
We are discussing many topics from our life, the challenges, the good and the bad, and everything in between. So thank you so much for tuning in. And today we want to discuss something interesting.
That's what helped us to survive. It's because you're not ready for this.
You don't have to share this. Like, you can keep it to yourself.
And you have like respect for each other.
Yeah.
Trust and respect.
All right.
I know the secret truth. I know the secret and I have to tell everyone. Oh, I was blind and now I know everything in my life. Like I was blessed by God to deliver this message to all of my friends and family.
A smooth transition from labels to opportunities. See how your life changes.
God.
Hey guys, my name is Katrina and I'm here with...
My name is Daria.
And today we are shooting our podcast and we are so happy that you are tuning in and listening to us. So if you're new here, we are discussing many topics from our life, the challenges, the good and the bad, and everything in between. So thank you so much for tuning in. And today we want to discuss something interesting.
As usual and as always, we're talking about womanhood. But before we start, we want to start with a very fun subject.
Even before I took a sip.
Even before
So-
Katrina sips it. So this is both grande Starbucks drinks. I have Americano, and Katrina has what is it, like flat white?
Yeah, it's a flat white. Yeah.
So for some reason, and I'm not sure if you can see it, but I actually drank some of it.
And I haven't taken a sip yet. So that's
She was
why
excited
I asked her.
to take it.
I was like, listen, how much, like, you have more than I am? And she was like, yeah, but I've been drinking.
Yeah, I drink it so I started my Americano when we took it from Starbucks, and Katrina was like, let's put it in glasses so it's pretty and we can drink it. And there is no product placement. But I was like, yeah, and I'm drinking Americano and I have a lot more than the flat white. So
Yeah, this is...
just an FYI, guys, just so you know.
Yeah,
If it's a drink with milk, you're probably getting less.
probably. I know it's a lot less when you put ice, for sure. But...
Well, because it takes volume, so
well, yeah.
it kind of makes sense.
But that makes sense. But
Yeah.
this one doesn't, you know?
I don't know what was the reason for that.
So today we decided to discuss a topic that we've been talking about this the other day, and we decided there is more to actually uncover and maybe to dive in and see a couple more insights if we can get there. So we'll see. So Daria, do you wanna tell us what was the topic that we were discussing?
Okay, so I've been in therapy for over a year now, and I feel like maybe this is the topic why we became friends in the first place, because we like self-development and we like to explore the other sides of ourselves. And I've been interested in psychology for quite a long time, but I've been in active personal therapy for over a year. And when you do therapy or when you learn something new, you feel like you catch this insight and you're like, I know the secret truth. I know the secret and I have to tell everyone. Oh, I was blind and now I know everything in my life. I was blessed by God to deliver this message to all of my friends and family. And you learn that, and you start to communicate with your friends or with people at the supermarket. And you start to notice the things that you've learned in your therapy, or even if you're just learning about psychology as a whole, you just start to notice these things, and you're like, oh, you probably had problems with your father, right? Or you had an escaping mother, or or you had a controlling mother. Okay, this is why you behave like that. And I'm guilty of this. Like I had this for a very short period of time when I was looking at my friends from the prism, like not all of them, but just like some of my friends who were behaving in a way that corresponds to my experience in therapy, or like experience with the knowledge that I have about like psychotherapy. Then I thought, oh, they're being this because they have this problems, or they probably have something like this. Oh, okay. Like I'm putting myself on the pedestal, like on a position like that I'm higher than someone else is. I'm neglecting their experience, and basically I am just disregarding their emotions, so just like disrespecting their like
Maybe
life.
boundaries at some point.
And even boundaries, I think. Yeah, I would agree on that. So I feel like people who are doing their self-development, or their self-developing journey, they put themselves above others. They're like, like I'm on top, I know more, I know the secrets, this truth, that you're blind. And if you tell people and they're like, oh, like I don't want to talk about this, and you're like, oh, it's because you're not ready for this. Okay, I understand. I was in your place before, so I get it. Like, like I'm a queen of the world, I know everything, and you're just like somewhere there, like. And I feel like this is very disrespectful, and it's very negligent to think that you know more, even though you have a knowledge about something. But those people, they can have the experience on their side, and I feel like they can bring something to the table as well. But I feel like you should
I think there is like a very fine line between something that you decided to share. Let's say like you have like an interesting piece of information. You've learned something new, and like there is like no crossing boundaries in just sharing this. But when you start analyzing and saying that, trying to teach someone like to do something differently, or you're saying that, oh, you should do this or that because like I think like your mom and your dad or whatever like the situation is. So there is like a very fine line in just sharing that you learned something. Like let's say you've learned that there are some consequences, or like I don't know, something is happening if you do this and that, and you can just share this, and there is no problem with that. It's just information. It's for the person to take it or not to take it. So there is no enforcing this. But again, the person can say, yeah, I don't want to talk about this, and you're like, oh, all right. So I think, yes, it is very... but yeah, in the beginning of the journey, you're like, you want to talk about this nonstop. You want to share like everything you've learned, and you realize that, oh my God, this is how we've been living before. And now like it's actually so much easier and it makes sense, and you want to share. And yes, that's okay. But then when you later keep, learning something and getting deeper into the subject, you realize that you don't have to share this. Like, you can keep it to yourself. You don't have to put it on person. You can just keep it to yourself and, like, do your own thing. And I've learned this. So you learned this when you started therapy. And I had a situation before when my friend, she shared with me, it was a blog. And it was about relationship. So there is a psychologist who defined relationships and types of people into certain characters. So she would label certain characteristics or certain types of wives or husbands or, persons like in the relationship. She would put labels on them, like the names, and then she would specify that this is, let's say, an abusive relationship, or it's a generic term, but whatever. And then at some point, I was reading this, and after like 1 month or so, because I've been reading it like every single day, and I was like, oh my God. And when I saw my friends, fighting or something, and I was like, oh my God. So, okay, so this is this one and this is that one. And what is happening is an abusive relationship and he's a narcissist and she's just, doesn't realize this. And like, I would start labeling people and feeling that you're right. Like when you have knowledge and you're like above them, that you know more than them, but in truth you do not, because you
know
see
zero. You know nothing.
First of all, it's not your life, and like it's their life. And then second of all, you see only like 0.01% of their life and their interaction. And then you are making some, decisions, assumptions. Yeah, that, okay, this couple is this and that. But to be honest, I was guilty of that. And then at some point, when you go deep into the subject, you're like, oh, I actually know nothing. Yeah, because, it's easier to misinterpret your knowledge saying that, oh, yeah, I know it. Okay, I got you.
So I came to this like realization when, as you mentioned, I started like labeling my friends in my own like head. I wasn't doing it on purpose. I wasn't doing it out loud. It's just in my brain.
Oh, that's
good. but still, it's very toxic. Like, even to like for me, because I was like treating those friends in a different way, and I feel like you have to, like, in order for a friendship to work, it has to be two like peer-to-peer relationship where you're all equals and you have like respect for each other.
Yeah.
Trust and respect. And if one person goes like, like feels like they're above you, this is not a friendship. So I've noticed it within myself, and now I had to put myself back, because as you mentioned, for the relationship, you don't know what happened to this person. Like what happened in their like life, about like in their childhood, or just like in general, like those could be people who are like 40 years old and they've lived a long life and they had so much time on this earth and so much experience and so many things maybe that I will never experience in my life. And I already make some assumptions about, oh, you have anger issues because you like, I don't. Okay, let's make an assumption. So I'm making an assumption that you have anger issues because you had a controlling mom and she wouldn't let you to express yourself and your creativity, and she was always banned you. So now you're suppressing your feelings, and this is why you're so angry, because you're anxious inside. But reality is,
the mom is great and the person sucks.
No. The reality is that we don't know. We don't know. We know nothing. And that person can, because he's my friend, like, or she's my friend, right? So they bring so much more value to my life right now, even if something was wrong with their mom, like, as I'm assuming. But still, I have to respect their life choices and their experience, because I still met this person and I decided that I want this person to be my friend. So when you're looking, so how it works, like with the blog that you were talking about. So like you read the blog, you've learned this characters. Okay, so there's like 4 types of relationship, and first type, second type, third type, fourth type. You're ready, like, like you have your tools. Okay, now you're going to the real world, and you see a relationship, and you're like, okay, in my tool set, I have 1, 2, 3, or 4. So they have to be one of those. It's kind of the same as you're saying, like you have your comfort zone, but you will find something, even though it's not 100%. Yeah.
So yes, talking about the labels. So the other day, I saw an interesting a reel that a person was talking about opportunities. So a smooth transition from labels to opportunities. So she was saying that, imagine that like you drive to work every day, and how many red cars did you see yesterday? And you would say like, I don't know, 0, maybe 2, who knows?
If he counted me, maybe 1.
Yeah.
Maybe 1 I'll remember.
Who knows? And then if I tell you today, then when you go back home, just count how many red cars do you see. And you would count that, and you would notice that like 10, maybe 15. And
That's too many red cars. Probably two.
well, we'll see. I don't know. We'll see.
People usually don't drive red cars.
Well, yeah, I think I've heard that insurance kind of higher for red car because
Really?
I think I've heard that maybe it was in some state in US.
Yeah.
I don't know, but the cops would stop those cars more frequently than the regular car.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, just because it's red. I don't know if it's true or not.
Okay,
but
interesting.
here you go.
Well, thank you. Fun fact.
So let's say once I tell you to count the cars, you're gonna go and count the cars, and you're gonna see 10. And the same goes with the opportunities. So if I tell you that, but yeah, I don't have to tell you, but if, let's say, you keep your attention on opportunities and you would be open to that and you would say yes to invites and yes to more projects or interesting things that happening in your life, then you would widen the circle of these opportunities. But if you just staying at home, like work home, and then sometimes you go out to the bar like once a month, then how opportunities are going to find you? That's a good question. So I mean, if you're open and doing a lot of stuff and trying a lot of new things, I think you have more chances to try to get into something more exciting and to level up your life than if you say you just stay home and complain that, oh my God, like Susan, she has so many opportunities in her life. Look at her, she's everywhere, and I'm here and like doing nothing.
I 100% agree on this, what you're saying. And I feel like when you're going through the self-development and like through like this like psychology topic that we discussed, this is how you're trying to fill up your life with this events like, oh, I'm smart in this topic, so I'm gonna focus on it and I'm gonna see it everywhere, instead of focusing, as you mentioned, like on opportunities that like even can give you more room for improvement in different areas of your life. So not focusing on just one area, but like on your whole life as a whole. Because I feel like therapy is a very important part of my life, and it should be a very important part of everyone's life. That's my personal opinion. And but when we focus on one area of our lives, I feel like we start to little by little neglect the other area of our lives, like career, friendship, or just your social life, or creativity even. And we should not do only something inside. We are the most important person in our lives, so we should take a lot of care of ourselves. But I feel like we cannot be happy if you just focus on one area instead of spreading our energy across all the bodies.
Yeah,
all the areas.
It comes again to this fine line of looking into therapy and doing this for yourself, and then also taking care of other stuff in the meantime. Like you cannot just say, okay, I'm in self-development right now, I'm just learning this, and that's it. And you don't care about your work, you don't care about your family.
You also have to act on it, right?
And act on it, exactly.
Yeah,
you don't have just
it.
to listen. I think it's very important to act on something that you've learned, and you found out that, like, let's say something has consequences, and now, like, yes, you need to act in a different way. And it's very important not just say, okay, I gotcha, cool idea. But yes, it's very important to implement it in your life.
Recently, like this November, I caught myself into that I'm trying to look for so many retreats, and I want to be everywhere, and I want to go everywhere, I invite you everywhere.
Yeah.
And I feel like I found myself in that at that place where I'm not sure, like, I'm like, it's an open topic. I have no idea, just like my feelings that I'm trying to escape from reality by just being in, like, in the spiritual world. I feel like right now once I catch that thought, I kind of balance myself out. So I am still doing like spiritual practices, but I'm not running and trying to catch and find all the opportunities that I have and go everywhere like I possibly can. And I feel like it's very important also for spiritual journeys or therapy, where you pick and choose and being careful to yourself, where you choose, like where I choose which retreats I want to go to, instead of, oh, I love this topic, I love everything about it, I just want to be, like dive deep into this and
In every
spend the
single
time,
one.
yeah, with all of the people, because if they're like doing the spiritual practice, they have to be good. But I realized that, and since I have like some experience, like since March, like so a couple of months, I realized that some like women's circles or even like some retreats, you find yourself in a group of people that you like, they bring you energy and that you're loving the experience that you have. And sometimes I would feeling great during the experience, but after I would feel drained instead of like being uplifted. And I haven't noticed it until I caught myself at some point. I'm just like, I'm just seeing an ad, or I'm seeing in like someone invites me. I'm like, okay, I'll go because I love it. But then, is it really what I want?
That's very cool, because I've never been to a women's circle or to a retreat, but it's cool that you say that it also depends not only on the person who actually organizes this, but on the people who come to this session, because apparently, yes, because I mean it's obvious, like now that you say that, like, but before, like I wouldn't like keep my mind on that. So people that come, they come with different problems and from like different
backgrounds.
I don't know, yeah. So it's very important. But how would you know like what kind of people are there?
It's not like this. I feel like
You would never tell, right?
you would never know. But I feel like I just train myself. If I go to this kind of events very often, I just kind of drain myself by just going to so many events.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the spiritual practices should be like personal, like individual. So if you overdo it, you just like overspend your energy, like, and you just drain yourself. But if you do it not as frequently in a group setting, I would feel better. And also when you're in a good mood and you have the energy, like you would feel like better. But also for me, it's actually the topic we discussed last time about like the empathy, because I'm guilty of this as well. It's also, and kind of connects to the topic that we have today, like your focus, like where you pay your attention. So even if you go to a group event, like women's circle, and a person comes to you where you feel like you don't want to connect with them, or like they're acting in a way, like for example, whining or something, and it drains you, and it's not your responsibility to calm them, and you don't have the energy to comfort them. Sometimes I do have energy, but it's my responsibility to distance myself from that person and to say no, instead of, because we are all sisters and it's a sisterhood and I will support you. But if I don't have the energy and the power to help you right now, I have to restore it to myself.
Also, I don't know, sometimes I don't know what people think inside of their head when they decide to share like a personal story with the stranger. I think on one like side, that sometimes it's easier to share something very personal to a stranger than to someone you know, because like it's gone. Like you just said that she shared with you like something, like some piece of information, and you just muted yourself and you were like in your thoughts or whatever. And this is exactly, I think, when people like need sometimes. They just want to share, to pour it into someone, and then just go with their life. But I think it's a very, but from the other side, like, how often do you share something with like a complete stranger? I mean, like, tell a story, not just like, oh, look at that weather, but like, tell a story. Like, how often do you do that? I don't think I do this often.
So
Maybe I don't notice. I don't know.
that specific person, she wasn't telling a story that I didn't like. She was sharing an opinion that I do not share.
Okay.
Like she was sharing her opinion that I don't want to share. Whatever.
Okay.
So I had this like energy. It was like I don't want to.
You don't want to argue right now.
Of course, I don't want to argue, but I don't want this information to come into me, like to flow into me. I
Okay.
want to build a barrier where it does, like, it goes away.
Yeah.
Because it's something controversial. I don't want to bring it up, but it was
Okay.
just like something I don't want to
Get involved.
this. I don't want this to flow into like me. So I will distance myself. Okay, I'll be in my world. Okay, I'm gonna listen and feel the feelings that I have right now, and maybe analyze myself how I feel in this situation. And I feel like it's healthier.
It
this
is
way.
healthier. Yeah. I totally agree. I wouldn't do this sometimes. I will catch myself, I guess, more often suppressing like my feelings and then just, to comfort someone or like to respect them. But because I think it's like my understanding that this is how respect looks like. But it's not. So, okay, the bottom line of today's a very productive discussion. I would say first, look for opportunities. They're everywhere. Just open your eyes and open your mind and be ready to new challenges, to new interesting things that would come into your life. The second, I would say something about sharing information, like share consciously.
Consciously.
That I would want to say, I think. Yes. So I think it's very important to keep the boundaries, at the same time to take your emotions, like to keep them in control, and like you said, that you controlled the flow of information that would come into, like, that would affect you or not. So you are actually in control of this. So I think it's very important to remember this thing.
Just the final note
The
of
final?
just being careful to yourself, taking care of your emotions, feelings, thoughts, and just being very attentive to, like, just to your experience that you have in this life. Just saying sometimes, good girl, you're doing well. You're
Good
doing
job.
well. Good job. Good job. You're a good girl.
Hey, thank you so much
Thank
for
you so
tuning in. See you.